although it is already "40 minutes past midnight of the 14th of October of the Gregorian year 2022. In various countries of the world, it is still the 13th of October. Indeed, to the best of my comprehension, it has also to be Wednesday. I beg your pardon, Thursday. Albeit in our country it is already Friday. I crave leave to greet all of you from the very core of my heart, even though my greetings ought to be slumber, mingled with sadness, as well as concerns and worries. Some news broadcast by the BBC World Service as well as BBC Radio 4, and no doubt even by Deutschlandfunk in German, shocked me considerably, raising both my concerns and worries to their peaks. One of the message broadcasting channels broadcast today that during the past 50 years or so, some 90% of various species of the animal kingdom have become extinct only during the past 50 years. This no doubt raises grave concerns upon my mind, anticipating, in fear, perhaps even with trembling, what may befall us during the next few years or decades. We are to be blamed for exhausting various types of pollutants into the atmosphere, endangering our world, our planet, and perhaps the surroundings of this planet into the near universe as a whole. We do not merely exist, we coexist with other species of the animal kingdom. And even as a believer in God the Almighty, referring to the very first chapter of the Torah, or the Holy Bible in their modern translations, we behold quite clearly that God's plan was to preserve his earth, as it may also be found in the modern translation of the Holy Bible in the book of Genesis chapter 1 verse 31, that when God had created everything by the sixth day, he appreciated his creation, claiming it to be very good. So it was, and so should it be. But we, his creation, are not merely partly, but mainly to be blamed for endangering his creation as a whole, indeed destroying much of it. We were created, again in reference to the Holy Bible or the Torah, in the image of God the Almighty, our Creator. We were supposed to be godly. Alas, according to the 3rd chapter of the book of Genesis, Adam and Eve, or Adam and Hava, fell into the errors, the erroneous trap set by God's arch-enemy, Lucifer, personified in the serpent. And we still have not been able to overcome that venomous breath of God's arch enemy while living on this his earth, his loving creation. We are supposed to tend his creation, protect them, enhance their multiplication, and do our utmost to protect them. Alas, we have become too greedy and selfish to care about the species of the animal kingdom as a whole, with whom we coexist on this, our earth, his beloved creation. This is not the only matter which has caused such grave despair upon my mind on this very day. I heard also that young people, even children, who have been housed in homes into certain hotels because they emigrated or were compelled to emigrate from their country or countries into the Western world, many of them have certainly disappeared without leaving any trace behind. No doubt, to the best of my belief and understanding, they were victimized by human traffickers and illegal slave traders. The heinous crimes against which I have been speaking for several years, perhaps almost a decade, yet unsuccessfully tearing my heart apart, leading me to grave shame even upon my own self in my failure to persuade my fellow human beings, even my fellow global citizens, to come forward and act, or at least to speak out against such heinous, inhumane and shameful offences, particularly against babies and children. Alas, I have failed, but I do not give up hope, believing that one day my voice will be heard by my fellow global citizens who also believe in humanity and claim to be worthy human beings. In the like manner, such dreadful offences committed by greedy, self-exalting, indeed self-centered and selfish, dictators, despots, even tyrants, victimizing the innocent, even babies, children, the physically challenged, and many others, can and most certainly do raise not merely my concerns, but add to my grief, not merely to a considerable extent, but almost to some unlimited extent. Therefore, even on this night in my country, or from my country, more correctly, and being here in my country, India, I beg you most humbly to come forward, to act, or at least to speak out on behalf of those who cannot speak out or are too afraid to speak out or are deprived of their right to freedom of speech, to speak out on their behalf. to publish on their behalf the victimization suffered by them. And I thank you once again, bidding you the protection of the same Almighty who created all of us, even those victims, those child victims, those innocent victims, and even the victims of the animal kingdom, victimized by us, so-called civilized human beings. I thank you in anticipation for your kind understanding and the needful response, while I remain at your service with all due humiliation and sincerity.